head scratchers that we often report to you. This one really head scratchy. The White House reportedly sending 5 million barrels of our reserve oil that you pay for with your taxpayer dollars to Europe and Asia. President originally said that oil would be released to you to help lower the price of your gas here in America.
Neal Crabtree was laid off when President Biden killed the Keystone XL pipeline, and he joins us now. Neal, good morning to you. What do you make of this 5 million barrels of oil from the strategic reserve that the president sent to countries like China? 5 million barrels is a relative drop in the bucket, all things considered, but I think a lot of people assume that oil would be staying here. Is this a big deal to you?
Well, exporting oil, I think it's something that the United States needs to be a leader in. The problem is where this oil's coming from. This president's made it, a habit to get into this reserve quite a few times now, and we've still got 3 more months of him drawing out 1 million barrels a day, and we're already down to levels in the reserve we ain't seen since probably 1986. And the question is, what are we going to do after that's over with? We can't just keep dipping into this. We've got to find some solutions to the real problem. Is the world is demanding more oil, and we got a government that's limiting the ability to get it.
Keep in mind what this is actually labeled is the strategic petroleum reserve. The strategy is to allow us to have gas in case we are in a situation where we desperately need it. Let's think national security, wartime, things along those lines. We are potentially, to your point, Neal, depleting that to a level that could make us strategically vulnerable, and that is concerning. We always have you on, Neal, to talk about your perspective from somebody who works in the industry. I want you to put on a different hat, be the consumer. The average American consumer who's struggling right now to pay for gas at the pump, what are they to think when they see President Biden releasing this, to Carly's point, to our enemy, to China? That makes no sense, and it has to be so frustrating to every single American.
It is. It's frustrating, and what's really frustrating is, the excuses that we keep getting. We keep hearing this is all Russia's fault, and the White House is trying to paint a picture of this price hike being the total fault of Russia because their oil is completely off the market. Well, that's not true. The Russian oil is still going to the market. The United States may not be buying it, but places like China are buying that oil. So it is getting to the market. In a lot of cases, it's getting sold at a discount price. So I'm not buying this Putin price hike.
Yeah, and the other thing, and this is new, Neal, during a time of record high gas prices, the president is considering banning offshore drilling. According to the New York Times, they say he is likely to block new drilling in the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. So if that does happen, how could he say that he's doing everything in his power to lower gas prices?
Basically because they're not doing everything in their power. You go all the way back to the campaign when the president said that he was going to destroy the fossil fuel industry, and those are words that he cannot escape. They can get in front of the public and say they're trying everything they can, but they really offer nothing but excuses. I heard the transportation secretary the other day saying that they want to take these leases away if these companies aren't using them. But I could get behind that if the leases and the permits came together. But the administration knows that just because they give these leases out, they've got these companies behind the 8 ball when it comes to obtaining permits.
Neal, you mentioned, I don't think Biden can escape what he said on the campaign trail. Question to you, Neal, does he want to? Is this his strategy? Is this his plan all along to get rid of fossil fuels and get us into this panacea that he wants to have, which is not reality, of us all on electric cars and no fossil fuels?
I think it is part of the plan. This administration is the administration that's been soft on crime, so I don't think they mind people getting robbed when they go to the gas station every day.
Yeah, well, we refer to you as a laid-off Keystone XL pipeline worker. You've since landed a big job in New Jersey. Obviously, you've landed on your feet, which is no surprise to everybody who's been watching you on our channel. Interestingly enough, the job that you have is not building solar panels, as John Kerry suggested. What? And I think that's really the point, is the Biden administration is really trying to rush into renewables before it's a viable option. Neal, we always appreciate having you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Carly.
You bet.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.